No, it's not. There's a little bit more to it than that. There is a lot of information that is assumed by the New Testament authors themselves, but they're writing to specific types of audiences. This is one argument why the Gospels are so different. You know, Matthew was the most Jewish, Mark was the Gentile, or whichever, whatever way, but each one had their own audience to focus on, and so they assumed an awful lot of information that perhaps we just don't have. We're finding a lot of these traditions now because of the archaeological discovered texts. See, we have been having to read between the lines in the Bible, and now that all this other material is coming out, it's filling in between the lines, and now we're saying, aha, their mythical background world is now coming up here. Now we understand what assumptions they had and that they were using, as well as their theological backgrounds that we're now coming up to, or that's coming up to us, rather. But we have all these different assumed knowledges that is now coming out, and now we go back and reread the Gospels and the rest of the New Testament, and we're doing the same thing with the Old Testament as well. Now that we go back and reread the canonical materials, with the context being this broad, we go, the reason I'm bringing this up is because Melchizedek, the patterns of this overall principle through centuries of Israelite worship, of this idea of the earthly high priest representing the Lord, the celestial high priest, on earth as it is in heaven, and this idea that mankind can be deified. Now that we have this background, we reread the canonical materials and we say, that brings out this obscure passage. Or, we've interpreted this passage this way all this time. Now we have a new interpretation. And I know I'm talking in generalities. I'll have specific examples for you, especially with this Melchizedek, with the Enoch, with the Abraham, in the Apocalypse of Abraham, and the Testament of Abraham, as far as that goes. So all of these grand patriarchs, this information is coming out. Isn't it interesting that it's about the patriarchs? The Dead Sea Scrolls has so much information about Abraham, Enoch, Noah. Now there's a book of Noah, Adam, Melchizedek. It's fascinating. Moses, oh my heavens, Moses is huge. But these same patriarchs, this same emphasis, Joseph Smith brought out. The book of Moses in the Pearl of Great Price, the book of Abraham in the Pearl of Great Price, the selection of the book of Enoch within the book of Moses, the information on Noah, the books of Adam. My gosh, there's dozens of books of Adam now coming out. This is a very interesting emphasis that Joseph Smith brought out in the scriptures that filled in a lot of the gaps of the biblical record, even though the critics are still being silly and saying, Joseph Smith just stole it from the Bible. I have some real good Dead Sea Scroll scholars' information on how to handle that objection, too. Klaus Berger, I've got some great stuff on him I'll share with you. Anyway, look, I told you guys I'm not going to shut up. This stuff is so interesting to me, how it fleshes out our understanding, how it increases our potential for knowing the Scripture better, because we see new connections. We see new possibilities. We see different doctrines than what we accept in some cases. This is true. But because of the way they interpret the canonical Scripture we have, based on their interpretation, it gives us a new angle to look at another Scripture. And you go, maybe that's why it even... Let me tell you something. It even helps us understand the parables of Jesus better. I have some great stuff on that. No, true story, man. You go, that's getting kind of heavy. It is. It's just awesome. That's all. It's just awesome. Anyway, finally, like Jesus and Enoch, Melchizedek is called a god. Elohim, in this case, in Melchizedek's case. That's, and I have all kinds of stuff on that. So, my point is to say, welcome to the world of the Dead Sea Scrolls, man. Oh, mercy. There is so much cool information I'm going to share with you. This is just kind of a real brief introductory lesson. Little bit of a small part series of videos on Melchizedek. If I increase this the 3,000-fold with the sources I have, trust me, when I'm done, you will have new insights, new understanding, new appreciations for much of the Hebrew text, as well as the Septuagint in the Greek, as well as some of the New Testament interpretations of Hebrews and in the Gospels, etc. You'll know more about Melchizedek than you ever could believe possible. And that's a guarantee. So, thanks for watching these videos. I'll be back with more. In the meantime, remember, just like I always love to say, besides the fact that I love to say, get her done, is have a great life.